been a while since I made an update on this new orchard, this new opening. I'm going to link here to the playlist, and you're welcome to go through and watch from the beginning till now. But we're in late May, and the growing season is definitely full swing. It's actually piping hot today for this area. It's 85 degrees and super sunny. And I'm realizing that the big priority moving forward here, kind of as an ASAP thing, is to get lots more mulch, partially for weed suppression, but also to keep the winter's moisture in the ground. Because now that this area is so open, imagine this was almost entirely closed canopy of locust this last winter. So the soil that's exposed is almost a little bit in shock. I can see where I put soil on this hugel mound. I didn't get it seeded, which is definitely a mistake, but that's bone dry. So the window to seed that is, I have to wait now for really heavy rain. So what I'm going to do is end up, this weekend I'm having some folks come by, and off in the distance there you can see a friend dumped 2 trailer loads of wood chips, and we're going to move them out, and everywhere that there's dead material, bare soil, or gaps, we're going to cover in a deep layer of wood chips. I've been putting down hay for walkways and sheet mulching a little bit with cardboard and burlap sacks. And overall, though, I would say things seem quite happy. So here's an example of a grafted pear. I think, is that right? Grafted plum. Growing beautifully, doesn't seem to have any stress, which is really nice. The understory companion elements for each of these guilds seem to be working well. I went ahead and flanked around a lot of these plantings with honeyberry. Put in about, 100 honeyberry this early spring, which I'm very excited to see how those work out. Definitely with this dry weather, I'm finding that the hardwood cuttings that I took, they're rooting, but I had to definitely go through and pinch off flowers. That's good practice anyway. And some of them have died. I think the soil just isn't super fertile in here yet. It was woodland soil, kind of bare and acidic maybe. And as we get the organic matter up, these cuttings should work better and better. Here's a couple that are rooting and growing. And there's one behind it that didn't. About 80% success, which I'm happy with. Some of these plums that I transplanted in passed away, but most of them are growing. That's great for an 8-foot tall tree I grew from seed to be doing that well. So hopefully they'll be flowering next year. And you can see my friend Leo and I the other day, I bought 100 bales of hay, of mulch hay, for $90. Well, 120 after delivery. And those are staged as well. And what we're going to be doing here is mulching with hay around each of the plantings. So for example, here's whole series of seaberry that I planted on a steep northern angle. They'll get mulched with hay, and then walkways and everywhere else will just get a thick layer of wood chips, so we really cover the soil and get that fungal life kicked off. More trees, grafted trees. Here's a nice pear with the seaberry to the south and the garlic ring around it. That pattern seems to be working nicely. I haven't watered these at all. They're under a little bit of stress, but I think they're going to be just fine. You can see I went through and mulched with hay around them. I'm going to keep mulching. Every time we get a heavy rain, my plan is to follow it with a heavy mulch. And because I have no real easy way to irrigate out here. And I don't plan on irrigating, actually. So anyway, that's the update at the moment. A couple casualties here or there. A couple that just never really kicked off. But overall, so here's some more honeyberry down along the ground there. They're small, so I really have to keep up with mulching. So there's some garlic next to it. I'll leave that, but I need to mulch down the valerian, mulch down the grasses and such. So that's going to be a constant pattern for this whole summer, is just to keep mulch. These guilds, I don't know if I talked about these in another video. They're kind of insane. They're 5 plants per hole. I've got a chestnut to the north, 2 sea berries, one on the east and one on the west, and then 2 Nanking cherries, all aiming outward. And the chestnut gets a black currant co-planted as an aromatic support. And so far these little 5-way high density guilds are growing and doing their thing. Here's another chestnut with a sea berry to provide nitrogen and protection. The comfrey was here. I'm very happy to have lots of comfrey around. And where else? Hazelnuts all planted in with Nanking cherries just to the north of them. They're all growing well. Sooner than later I'm going to need to get fencing around these because there definitely is a lot of deer presence in these woods. So far they haven't come here, but we'll see how long that lasts. Oh, and as a side note, all of these locusts are sprouting back. And so sooner than later, I'm going to need to go through and start doing some selection. Let me show you what I mean. Let me find one that's in the sun. So, as I mentioned in the earlier videos, all of these locusts I planted back in 2010 have been pollarded, cut at above browse height for deer. And the idea is I want to select 1 or 2 shoots every few inches or every foot or so. It's a little hard to do this with the camera going, but if I simplify these down early enough, I don't have to do it with pruners. I can just do it with my fingers. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 shoots that I'll manage. I can see back in there's way more shoots than I want, and a lot are too low, so I'll rub the real low ones off. But that's definitely on the management list for this year, is to get these early pollard responses tidied up and simplified. Just to show as an example, these I did 2 years ago. And now there's a nice balanced 1, 2, 3 shoots and 1, 2 shoots off of those locusts. And so they're already 12, 15 feet tall. They're looking good. And so I've got about 80 of those trees to manage that way. So, blah, blah, blah. It's growing. Need more mulch, need more weed suppression, need to keep kicking up the fertility. But hundreds of trees and shrubs are growing actively, and let's keep our fingers crossed that they work out for the season. And we'll keep doing updates when fruit starts coming in and all that good stuff. Thank you for watching.